What up, my friends? It's day 310 of No Excuses 2024. It's also November 5th, which is election day. Has everybody voted yet? I voted last week, Wednesday. And, yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, whoever I voted for in New Hampshire, it ain't really going to count unless people are, especially in my area. I know, I guess I should have voted third party. I really probably should have done that. Yeah, it was a tough decision, And people ask me why I voted the way that I voted, right? I voted for a Republican ticket all the way up and down, right? And at first it was just to, it was a vote against the Democrats, period. You know how like a lot of people will vote for whoever just because they cannot stand Trump, right? I was that way at one point as well. Or I wouldn't vote, you know what I mean? But if the Democrats are voted in, especially with this candidate, because he's such a nothing burger, it's just going to embolden them to keep doing the same BS, So I couldn't vote for Democrats. And, the other thing that made me realize is there's no conservative machine up here to convert voters like myself to a more conservative ticket, right? I'm socially liberal in a lot of ways. Like I want to help Americans, hand up rather than a handout, because I know for myself, I had to help myself before I could help anybody else, and before I was of use to anybody else. And, how's it going? And so, that's what I voted for. I voted for the future of my children rather than, people that don't even exist or never existed or never will exist 300 years from now. I always say it, right? I go, look, if you want to eat bugs and drive an electric car, that's fine. That's all well and good. Just don't trick me or force me into doing it. That's all I'm saying. Ain't no big deal. There's a place for all that stuff, I guess. But, yeah. So it's day 310. I hope cooler heads will prevail no matter who wins. There's going to be sore losers. And I know on the conservative side, what will happen is we'll wake up tomorrow or whenever the election results come in and we'll go back to work, right? On the other side, there's a lot of people who don't work. And they ain't got no jobs, so they're going to be out in the streets crying again and this and that. And mind you, I didn't vote for Trump either of the other two times, okay? And I did this time. And, that might get you some hate, but I just couldn't reinforce the attitude of this administration and their bureaucratic power source behind them, right? I couldn't say, yeah, you guys have been doing a great job. I can't, everything's more expensive. People are stressed out. All kinds of people are on pain medication and mental health bullshit and this and that and, psychotropic drugs and Ozempic and processed foods, and they watch the news and commercial television, like the corporate media. And like people don't understand, like when you don't watch television, like I don't see commercials, like none of that shit. All that shit is pushing your mind and poisoning it into a certain direction. Maybe you enjoy it, right? I know for a very long time I enjoyed my victimhood. I thrived in my victimhood, or so I thought, right? I'm not a victim anymore, I make steps forward in order to improve myself, and those around me that I have direct connection with. I've like gone hard on some of my clients that I've had for a long time and I didn't see them for a while. And then them tell me, they lost pieces of their foot, this and that, diabetes 2, type 2 diabetes, all kinds of stuff. And then I gave them a little tough love and then told them my experience in losing over 100 pounds in the last 5 years, really in the last 3. But I thought I was going to lose a client. In fact, he's come in, he's slimmer now, he's exercising, he's taking responsibility for his bullshit. You know, I had a friend get mad because I said he couldn't even walk a half a mile without taking a break, huffing and puffing. I got a 50-pound weight vest on, so I'm a little huffy and puffy. But anyway, and he got mad about that, right? And it's true, though. It's true. He's basically crippled, you know, and he's done it to himself with obesity, diabetes, erectile dysfunction, all kinds of shit, right? And like, imagine if one of your 40-year friendships, right? You had a friend for over 40 years, was shooting heroin every day, right? Killing themselves that way, right? Wouldn't you say something? Wouldn't you say, hey man, you're killing yourself with those drugs, you know? I had friends that were saying it to me. You know, those were my real friends, you know? And at the time I couldn't see that, right? I didn't realize that, right? But we don't do that when people are morbidly obese, can't walk, always going in and out of the hospital, always sick, always some kind of ailment, you know? And somehow their lives aren't going correctly either, you know? Their spouse is fucked up too, you know? And they're stuck in that victim mentality, right? And we don't tell them, right? While they're walking through a slow motion suicide, you know? But at the funeral, we'll be like, oh man, it was too soon, such a great person and this and that. But nobody said, hey man, do what I do, walk a little, you know, and that might open things up, or lift or something, you know, do something other than what you're doing right now, because obviously it's not working. You know, our politicians talk all the time like, oh, we're going to save our seniors money on pharmaceutical drugs. It's like, well, how about we get people healthy so they don't need these pharmaceutical drugs? Imagine how much money you'd save on pharmaceutical drugs if you didn't need them. You know, we don't talk about any of that, right? You go to the vet with your dog. If your dog's, you know, not feeling right, and what's the first thing they ask you? Did you change their diet? What are they eating? Did they get into something? Right? We go to the doctor. They don't ask about your diet. They go, hey, man, you know, we can manage your cholesterol with this pill. We can manage your erectile dysfunction with this pill. We can manage your diabetes with this shot. It's the wrong way of thinking, you know? And you know, I was stuck in it. I was in that, you know. The most unhealthy I ever was, I was always a bleeding heart liberal progressive. I'm telling you, you know, you start taking care of yourself, you start taking personal responsibility for things, your mind state changes. You know, I'm no longer a victim. I know that if something is fucked up in my life, excuse my language, it's my own fault. It's my own fault. You know, sure, you can't control other people, right? You can't control others, what their actions are going to do to your fucked up way of thinking and your fucked up lifestyle, right? Ain't nothing you can do about that. But you can stop yourself from putting yourself in those positions. You understand what I'm saying? All right, everybody, you have a great day, man. This was going to be a short video, but it was pretty long. I'll talk to you when I talk to you. Hey, man, keep your head about you, you know? Keep your head on a swivel. You're going to vote. I don't care who you're voting for. Just vote. Everybody needs to vote. Every single person. You know? All right, I'll talk to you later. Peace, everybody. Day 310 of No Excuses 2024. That means we only have 56 more days left, my friend. Get at it. If it's going to be a new year, new you, when you starting? Peace.